I always find it strange when I hear on social media or in real life, when I hear somebody say anything to the effect of, there are no games to play or they can't find anything to play. Because what you mean you can't find nothing to play? Have you seen these eShops and digital storefronts across all consoles and Steam and everywhere else you can get games? There are too many choices to pick from. This is like Netflix to me, where I log on and I just get overwhelmed by all the choices and I have to shut it out because it's too much. I can't have this kind of power picking between all these games. But man, there's so many games out here, especially on the indie scene, that I can't really fathom the idea of anybody not being able to find something to play. But I get it. I'm not here to judge. Well, I am a little bit. I'm gonna judge you a little bit, but I get it. You like what you like, and maybe you've exhausted all of the latest AAA options. You've grown tired of these new games that are always coming out with microtransactions and DLC packs you gotta buy, and you gotta buy this extra thing and that extra thing, and it's just bleeding your wallet dry. And believe me, I'm 1000% with you there on that front. Because back in my day, once upon a time, if you wanted extra content in the game, you just had to keep playing the game until you unlocked the content, which pretty cool concept. Don't know why we ever got away from that. But speaking of back in my day, I'm here to offer solutions. Maybe you don't need to always look to the new release to be like your next favorite game, because your next favorite game might actually be something old. So just follow me for a quick second. We're gonna take a little story trip. So generally speaking, I'll just use PlayStation as an example. The console life cycle normally runs for about 7 years. So with that math in mind, the PS3 released in North America during November of 2006, and then 7 years later, we would get the PS4 in November of 2013. Now, I graduated high school in 2007, and I would spend the next few years entering the workforce. Shout out to Hollywood Videos, going to college, developing, a little bit of a social life, and just, doing regular adult stuff. So I was pretty busy during those years, and unfortunately, because I was busy, there were a ton of games from that era that I just completely missed out on because I didn't have the time to game as much as I wanted to. And the Nintendo Wii had also came out around that time period. And while I did spend some time with the Wii, playing some of my favorites like Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, Zelda Skyward Sword, Mad World, there were still a bunch of games from that era that they just passed me by. And another era even older than that that passed me by was the handheld era. Now, we did in my house have the OG Game Boy, that one that was the size of a brick. We had that one, and then I did end up getting a Game Boy Color, but that was solely just to play Pokemon. But eventually I wasn't into Pokemon, so once I stopped playing Pokemon, I kind of stopped playing my Game Boy Color, and in effect I kind of just stopped playing handhelds altogether. So the Game Boy Advance, the Nintendo DS, the 3DS, the PS Vita, all of these other handhelds that came out after the Game Boy Color, missed out on every single last one of those. And boy, oh boy, would I come to find out that I missed out on a whole era of greatness that I just completely just passed me by. Since the pandemic happened in 2020, I've been pretty heavy on this retro kick, and just in general, going back to playing games that I either missed out on during my college years or just games that I missed out on in general from previous generations. Now, I do have a PS5, and some of the shiny new games, grab my attention when they come out. Games like Tekken 8, Rise of the Ronin, Armored Core, Fires of Rubicon, and Forspoken, which, side note, game wasn't as bad as a lot of y'all said it was. Might have to revisit that for a later video. I'm just throwing that out there. But a lot of the most fun that I've been having recently has been with all of these older games that I've been going back and playing, and just going back and visiting these older games that slipped by my radar the past console generations. And circling back to the PS3, I've gone back to play some real gems that I never knew about. A lot of these I've covered on the channel. Games like Syndicate, which is a really dope cyberpunk themed first-person shooter. Games like Killer is Dead, which is really over the top but really fun hack and slash game that has a ton of personality. Finally played Heavenly Sword for the first time, which I've known about that game for years, but I never got to play it. So I finally played that and had a lot of fun with it. And after going back to the PS3, I gotta walk back some hate that I had for Brother Raiden from Metal Gear Solid. Because I went back and played Metal Gear Solid Rising Revengeance, or Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, and yeah, I might owe Raiden a little bit of apology. He still ain't my favorite character. I'm gonna hate on him a little bit, but that game was actually kind of fire. Not gonna lie, man. That's some high quality, high grade hack and slash combat. Yeah, no, he cooked with that one. That game's pretty good. I still don't like Raiden, but I can't lie and say that game was not say that game was not fire. You killed that one, Raiden. You did a good job. Give you a little hand clap for that one. And I've got a few more PS3 games that I still have sitting here in plastic that I have not played yet that I'm looking forward to, like Resonance of Fate and Bionic Commando. Hopefully I will get to those soon. Also during the pandemic, I went back and I played the entire Mega Man X collection and the Mega Man Zero collection. Because prior to 2020, I had really only played X5 and the OG Mega Man X, which of course that's one of my all-time favorite games. So now that I've played through those entire collections, Mega Man X4 has become an all-timer for me. Love that game. And some of the Mega Man Zero games, as hard as they were, still enjoyed them. Glad I got that experience. Those games were really good. They're just really difficult. But like Nintendo in general, man, don't even get me started just how much Nintendo stuff I've gone back to play. Like mentioning the handhelds earlier, specifically the Game Boy Advance. Thanks to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion, your boy been able to go back and play some of these GBA games. I finally played Legend of Zelda Minish Cap for the first time. That game is amazing. It's so good. 10 out of 10. Finally got to play Metroid Fusion for the first time. Fire. Just fire. So good. And like, the more I go back and play these Game Boy Advance games, I'm realizing I messed up. I missed out on a lot. I don't think I haven't played a single Game Boy Advance game yet that I have not liked. Yeah, that GBA boy, there's some fire on that little system. And taking it back to the Wii, I've gone back to play some games from the Wii that I missed out on, like Muramasa the Demon Blade, Red Steel 2, which is probably has one of the best usages of that the Wii motion controls. Wario Land Shake It, which I hate to admit it because I'm a Wario hater, but hey man, that game's kind of good. I can't lie. Game's kind of fire. I gotta walk back some hate for him just like I had to do with Raiden. Game's pretty good. And I'm going back to finish the Metroid Prime collection. I'm currently on Metroid Prime 2, which I'm playing for the first time. Not that far into it, but if it's any near as good as the first one, I know I'm gonna have myself a good time. And I've definitely been going back, been bonding with the GameCube again. That has been an amazing experience. I've gone back and played Bloody Roar, Primal Fury, which I never got to play. I have a whole history with the GameCube. I lost my original one. The other one broke. Me and the GameCube, we had a rough out. I cherish the times we had. It just didn't last that long. But I've been able to go back, been playing Bloody Roar, been playing Star Fox Adventures, been playing Beautiful Joe. Just, the feels the GameCube has been giving me. It's just unmatched. I've been going back to play the Wii U. You know, I'm one of 20 people that still owns a Wii U. I'm proud. Been playing Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for the first time. Easily one of the best Donkey Kong games I think I've ever played, even though ever since I've been in World 4, I've been getting my face smacked in. But it's still a pretty good game, and I've rediscovered my love for Xenoblade Chronicles X, which I've actually owned since it originally came out. I just never finished it because I'm really bad at RPG games, but that game just it speaks to me in a way that a lot of other games don't. And put Nintendo, hey, can we when the Switch 2 comes out, can we get that Xenoblade Chronicles X port, please? The streets need this game. They might not know that they need it, but they need it. Please, I will start that whole game over from the beginning. If y'all put that back on, I will gladly start back over. Give me that game, please. But yeah, those are just an example of some of the older games that I've gone back to play. I could honestly just kind of keep going because I've really been heavy on this on this kind of like retro kick. But the point being, man, the gaming world is really vast. It's almost like infinite, and there are so many games out there for so many different kinds of people, so many genres. And if you add in the indie scene, there's always some crazy new creative something that some company you've never heard of is putting out. And these games are just waiting for you to find them, man. And it's honestly one of the main reasons that I do a lot of hidden gem videos on this channel, and I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of those videos are my most successful videos on YouTube. Because I think there are some gamers out there that are, they're trying to unearth that next diamond that they've never heard of. And if you're not one of those people, you need to join in on the hunt, because I'm telling you, there's no better feeling than stumbling on some gold that you didn't know existed and that you didn't know you needed. And gold is still gold, regardless of what time it was released. If you haven't found gold, it's not because there isn't any. You just might be looking in the wrong places. This is one of the few instances where letting yourself live in the past might actually be a good thing, because there's a whole back catalog of games that I'm positive you've never played and that I've never played. So try to go find one, because I'm telling you, it's some heat that probably came out in about 2010 that you don't know about. And that little random game from 2010 might just be your next all-time favorite game. My name is Serial Sensei. I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.